Tonight's the night again, and welcome to my next Dexter Resurrection Season 1 episode review video, as I was able to watch the first 2 episodes of Dexter Resurrection early on the YouTube Paramount Plus channel. Now, before I talk about my thoughts on the episode, if you haven't watched all of Dexter, Dexter New Blood, or Dexter Original Sin, then I highly suggest that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. If you're new to this channel or finding this channel for the first time, welcome to the channel where I'm a Dexter fanatic just like you. If you want to familiarize yourself with my Dexter fandom, at the end of this video with about 20 seconds left to go in the end screen, I'll put different video links. I'll put a link to my most recent Dexter Season Ranked video, which of course I'll redo after this season of Dexter Resurrection. I'll put my review of the first episode of Dexter Resurrection, in case you haven't caught that yet. I'll put my most recent Dexter villain/antagonist ranking, and I'll also put a video link to a live stream I did with Sipo of Willis Credio, where we talked about all things Dexter. It was kind of a hype video for Dexter Resurrection. So if you're a fan of Dexter, any iteration of Dexter, and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share this video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section with your thoughts regarding this episode of Dexter Resurrection. What would you rate the episode? Who would be your character of the episode? Obviously, Dexter's the character of every episode, but if there's somebody besides him that sticks out, and remember, you'll be interacting with me and the legendary Crazy Coffin Man. He'll be definitely in the comments section, giving you a real long breakdown of the events that happened in the episode. And then, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. Subscribe, motherfucker! Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special, and you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV. This will be Dexter Resurrection Season 1, Episode 2. The title of this episode is called Camera Shy. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start by following the character of what we're led to believe is Ronald Schmidt, who's played by Mark Menchaca, who was Russ on Ozark. He might be called Red at some point, I don't know, but we follow him around with this song War Pigs by Black Sabbath playing. And he gets in your car. He wants some he wants something smooth to listen to. He asks Stanley, the driver, where he's from, and he's from Haiti, but he's been in New York for a while. And then this character, Ronald Schmidt, says he's been in New York his whole life. And then Stanley mentions a concert, and Ronald Schmidt's character mentions it's filled with all assholes. And then Stanley gets a message from Jack, who is actually his real passenger. And where is he going? He's getting really far away from the destination point. And it's like, uh-oh, you're not Jack. And then this Ronald Schmidt character puts a wired cord around Stanley's neck and is told where he's going to go. And then Stanley asks if he's going to kill him. And then this Ronald Schmidt character says, well, who knows? Let's just say it all depends. He asks Stanley who's going to miss him, or who's going to miss you when you're gone. And he says his children are going to miss him. And then Stanley is told him and his brother, by this passenger, have lost everything because of you fucks. And then we see Stanley's body is found decapitated in the car by a young man. And then we have Dexter, who is watching Harrison at the Empire Hotel. Harry wants Dexter to go check in on him, and Dexter says he's sure Harrison doesn't want another one of his dead bodies showing up. Dexter says it would be stupid walking in on him not knowing what the situation is. Dexter goes inside the Empire Hotel, tells someone from housekeeping he needs some toilet paper, and then he takes someone's key card so he can get access to the different rooms. He has to use the stairs, and with being in a coma, it's not good for someone's cardio. And then Dexter goes into the hotel room where Harrison killed Brian and then cleaned the room. Dexter says he sees nothing to ghost Harry, and Harrison cleaned up well. He mentions he may be following his footsteps. And then Stefan enters with the detectives, Olive and Wallace, Claudette and Melvin. And then Claudette Wallace says murder is all she thinks about. She's weird, apparently. All she cares about is solving cases, and she apparently doesn't have much of a personal life or people skills. And she already thinks the toilet top lid was the murder weapon due to the porcelain. And Dexter's narration says, just what Harrison needs, a good cop. And then, due to the amount of rufinol in Ryan's luggage to put down an elephant, they wonder how it all fits together. They may think it has something to do with a potential date rape, but date rape victims don't typically murder the people that are assaulting them. And then with this ghost, Harry mentions it doesn't look like he's following in your footsteps. And then Claudette Wallace thinks the murderer has some knowledge in forensics. And then we have Harrison arriving at Elsa's place to babysit her son. He brings her son a Ninja Turtles, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, comic book to read. And then Dexter tells Ghost Harry that him showing up out of the blue could seriously fuck Harrison up in the head. Dexter finds his way to the kitchen in the hotel where all the plastic garbage bags and the stainless steel table, he thinks that's where Harrison cut up the body, and it's a great kill room then. And then Dexter finds out the kitchen closes in 30 minutes. We have Batista meeting with moron Sheriff Teddy, or moron acting Sheriff Teddy. He asks how Dexter disappeared, and Teddy, confused, says, "Dexter?" And Batista says, "Dexter Morgan. You knew him as Jim Lindsay." And then Teddy says, "He left." And then Batista says Dexter, a.k.a. Jim, is a good friend of his, and the doctor said he should have stayed in the hospital for at least another couple weeks. His head might not be exactly right. And Teddy says that he's been through an awful lot. What can you tell me to help me find him? And Teddy says everybody liked Jim, although he didn't know too many personal details about him, other than he liked tuna. And Batista says it doesn't seem odd that he left in such a hurry. And Teddy says he was free to go. Also, that he feels bad that Dexter, Jim, and Angela broke up, and Angela shooting him and him nearly dying. And then we see that Dexter, during this, is enjoying some cheeseburgers and some sour pickles at the hotel restaurant to wait for the kitchen to close. Teddy mentions to Batista that Jim had a pickup truck, and Batista asks him to keep him in the loop of things. And if there's any updates regarding that, or if something happens to that truck, keep him notified and inform him if anything goes on with it. And then Batista mentions going home, and Teddy volunteers to take him or give him a ride to the airport. And then the kitchen is finally closed, and Dexter goes into the perfect kill room. Dexter finds the blood stain on the ceiling tile, and he takes care of it for Harrison. Then we have Harrison waking up after a bad dream of him doing what he did to his father. He decides he wants to party and gets in contact with his buddy Lance. Harrison actually sees Dexter during this, but he thinks it's just a hallucination. And Dexter misreading a no parking sign, and the vehicle he was using, that the conspiracy theorist Jeep, is getting towed, and he's told to take a your car to the impound to pick it up. Dexter's your car has arrived. He wants to confirm the name of this passenger before he lets him in. Dexter Morgan. And he's like, okay. And then this driver says, "It's late. You been out partying?" Sort of, Dexter confirms. And then he says, yeah, we're going to go to the impound lot. It's a long story. And then this driver, his name is actually Blessing Kamara. And he talks about being in New York for 30 years. And Blessing also says sorry that he was a little cautious when he picked Dexter up. As you know, we've had a serial killer who's taking out rideshare drivers. And Dexter's like, "I didn't know that. I'm new here." And Blessing says he's killed 7 people so far, and he's called the Dark Passenger. This makes Dexter instantly pissed off. I thought he hated that nickname. Dexter's narration says it never occurred to him to trademark his alter ego. And then we have Harrison, who's doing some cocaine. It's now a party. Harrison sees another version of Ryan dead, or another vision of Ryan that's haunting him right now. So when he kills people, it haunts him, essentially. And then Blessing mentions to Dexter that he has a friend that was almost killed by the Dark Passenger, and he saw him. Can you imagine looking into the eyes of a serial killer as he's looking in the eyes of Dexter Morgan right now? And Dexter asks how he could go about becoming a your car driver. He needs a job and cannot be too choosy right now. And Blessing says he'll send Dexter a link, and he will also invite him to a party at his house. That's a little weird, considering what's been going on with these your car drivers in this serial killer killing the drivers. He just met Dexter Morgan, and now he's inviting him to his house. Logic right there makes me a little annoyed with that. But okay, Blessing's a good character, so I can look past it but still be annoyed with it. And then Blessing tells Dexter to get a new vehicle, also welcomes him to New York. And then Harry says, "You want to be a your car driver?" And Dexter says, "He stole my name," a name that Dexter never liked to begin with. And then we have a man named Keith tries to get money out of an ATM, but he's got a $0 balance right now. And then Charlie arrives, played by Uma Thurman, and says, "Let's walk." And she says he's not getting the money and never to contact us again. She says he may rather be referred to as the Canton Clubber. Either way, we closed your account. And she's got a bat with long nails sticking out of it. And then Keith kind of touches her on the shoulder, and Charlie clubs him. Now, I don't know for sure if she killed him right there, but probably. I don't think we'll be seeing Keith anymore. Not alive at least, but I don't know. And then while Dexter is eating, I'm guessing this is in the morning, he's reading like the tabloids, and he says even though this is a really big city, there's only room for one dark passenger. And then Dexter calls Blessing, wonders if his friend is going to be at the party, and because he says, yeah, he's going to be there, Dexter says he's coming, and Blessing says, don't forget your appetite. Then we have Harrison waking up after his long night of partying in his truck, which used to be Dexter's truck. He takes something like a pill out of the glove compartment and takes that, probably something to help with the hangover or the whatever, to help him with all the shit he did the night before. And then he starts reading the note that Dexter sent to Hannah McKay. My first Hannah McKay reference of the season. Fucking Jim Lindsay. He asks Lance if he wants to buy a truck. Then we have Claudette Wallace. Says the room was really clean, and the other rooms have many traces of different things in them. And then Detective Wallace and the two detectives, they see the surveillance footage of Ryan and Shauna at the bar, and immediately Claudette tells Stefan, we need to speak with that woman, or this woman. And then Dexter likes Blessing's mother's food and meets members of Blessing's family. He has a daughter, he has a wife. And then Blessing introduces Dexter to Chike, who got away from the Dark Passenger. He didn't report getting attacked because his visa has expired. And then Chike says that the Dark Passenger was a white man, Dexter's age, size, and hair color, who wore a hoodie, and then shows the video of the encounter to Dexter. And Blessing tells Dexter he shouldn't be staying in a hotel. It's a waste of money. He has a solution. Since Joy's moved out, his daughter, they have like an apartment. It's their basement, but it's basically an apartment. And he can move in. Like, okay, this is weird. He just met Dexter the night before, and now all of a sudden he's inviting Dexter to move in with him? That's a little quick, but okay. And then Dexter points out to Blessing that he has a new car. He got rid of his conspiracy theorist vehicle. And then the place, he looks at it, has everything Dexter needs. Even has a table, but that has to go back to Joyce because she does acupuncture, and that she needs that table. But Dexter would rather keep it, I guess. And I lost my place here. Bear with me a second. And Dexter says it might work, and Dexter doesn't know if he wants to take a basement. And Harry mentions the truth is he can go anywhere he wants. He's a free man. And then Dexter tells Blessing he'll take it. And Dexter gets a new license. It's me again, because it says Dexter Morgan on it and not Jim Lindsay. And then Dexter looks at the footage he has of the Dark Passenger attacking Chike and sees a logo on the Dark Passenger's backpack. And it shows Bridge Data Network on it. Ronald Schmidt is an employee of Bridge Data Network, but he has no online presence or no picture for his, employee pick or anything like that. And so Dexter watches the Bridge Data Network office. Elsa tells Harrison she passed the test and thanks him for watching Dante. And then Harrison sees Olive and Wallace bring Shauna into the Empire Hotel for questioning. Stefan tells Harrison that the police would like to speak to him. Dexter sees who he thinks might be Ronald Schmidt leave the Bridge Data Network. And then this this character goes up to your car a driver and says he's Tony, and Dexter comes by and says, "Hey, don't take your car." And then Ronald Schmidt allegedly walks away, and then Dexter follows him to the subway, but he actually bumps into somebody going down the stairs, and because he just had lots of shit done, he's in a coma for a while, it actually hurts him, and that enables Ronald Schmidt to get away, assuming that's the Ronald Schmidt character. And then Harry's actually upset that Dexter was going to put everything at risk to save that your car driver. Since when do you care about other people? And Dexter says, since now. And then Dexter says, New York may be a big town, but it's not big enough for two dark passengers. Ronald Schmidt, my kill table is ready for you. And that's what ends this episode of Dexter Resurrection, which was actually written by Scott Buck, which I was surprised to see because everybody blames him for the failures of the final seasons of Dexter, which I don't think they're that bad, but people hate Scott Buck. But he apparently is a consultant and writer for this show. So very interesting. So all you Lumen fans, all you Hannah McKay fans, I think there's a possibility, a slight one, but since Scott Buck was heavily involved with those characters, you never know. But I have my gripes about this episode. There's many plot conveniences and hitting the fast forward button on certain things. I'll give the episode an 8.3 out of 10 because it was still like really good Dexter, just with what we've had before and like the things that happened with these your car drivers for them. This Blessing character to meet him the night before, give him his phone number, and then let him move in the next day. I mean, come on. Anyway, 8.3 out of 10, and Blessing is going to be my character of the episode. He was a really good character, despite the flaws with like what he did in the episode. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Dexter and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share this video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Dexter Resurrection. You'll be interacting with me and the legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who obviously we're both major Dexter fans. Let me know what your thoughts are on the episode. What would you score it? Who would be your character of the episode? Remember, I'll put my Dexter seasons ranked. I'll put my antagonist ranked. I'll put my live stream I did with Sipo of Real Willis Credia. You can check that out. And, of course, my Dexter Resurrection episode 1 review video. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. Subscribe, motherfucker. Help me get over 100K subs. Join the team, show your damn support, and be part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.